Something tells me that you want to know if being a fruitarian is healthy and also if it is sustainable. So let's answer some of those questions for you. My name is Ed Logan. I want to welcome you to Fruit for Your Life. And we're going to talk about, is being a fruitarian healthy and sustainable? Well, let me say this. It's been about a year and a half for me, and I am healthy and I am sustainable. So let's talk about some of this and kind of like ease your mind. And, honestly, it may be a lifestyle that's good for you, but maybe you need to kind of mix it up a little bit. Maybe you need to do it your own way. Don't get so set into doing it one way, or maybe you see someone else doing it and you feel like you've got to do it the way that they're doing it. Don't put yourself in that situation, okay? You have to do what is best for you. All right. So basically, what is a fruitarian? A fruitarian is someone who eats fruit, and they mainly eat fruit. Now, there are fruitarians who only eat fruit. They don't eat anything but fruit, okay? But I'm not one of those, okay? And I'll explain to you why I am not. And I'll explain to you how much fruit I do actually eat. But I am not one of those who only eat fruit and that's all I'm going to ever eat. I'm not going to do that. So I can do it. I know that I could sustain on there, but I'm just not quite sure if it is the best for me to do. I use a lot of biblical principles in, how I live my life and what I do. And I do see biblical things in the Bible about eating things that grow from the ground, like plants. So to me, that tells me that that's okay to do. So we have the fruit. He says, eat from the trees. That's fruit. Hey, that seems to be okay to do. So the way I look at it, as if I'm eating from the trees and I'm eating from the ground, I think I will be fine. I'm doing great, actually. All right, so let's get into it. Fruitarians only eat fruit, the majority fruit. And let me explain a little bit about myself. I have always been, always will be, I eat 20%. Well, I'm sorry, 80% of what I eat is going to be fruit. 20% of what I eat is going to be produce, leafy greens, vegetables, salads, things like that. I do partake in also like beans. I do eat beans as well. And beans are a cooked item. So, you're going to have to make allowances. You have to figure out what works best for you. Now, there's some people who won't touch beans. There are some people who won't touch leafy green vegetables. All they're going to eat is fruit. And if that's their choice, if that's your choice, then hey, do that. Be happy. You're going to feel great. I feel great. And when I was eating only fruit for about my first 2 to 3 weeks, I didn't touch nothing but fruit, and I got my body acclimated. I mean, it was euphoric the way I was feeling because I hadn't felt that good in so long. So let's talk about some of the things that fruitarians, if they're only fruitarian, that they won't touch. So they won't touch like beans. They won't touch things like grains. And also, which I don't do, we don't touch things like food-like substances. Okay, so what is a food-like substance? A food-like substance is something that has been industrially created, and it has been made with additives, preservatives, with coloring, and things like that. I call it foodish. Okay, ish means to be like. So I call it foodish, meaning it is like food, but it's not quite food. And I choose to stay away from those things. I choose to stay away from those things that has the preservatives, the chemicals, the colorings, and all of those things. To me, that's not food. And honestly, for me, biblically speaking, I believe once people really understand what that kind of stuff is about, I believe biblically we're not even supposed to eat that. That's my take. That's what I read from the Bible. So you probably didn't ask for that, but I'm giving it to you. Hey, that one's free. So anyway, so some concerns. Let me give you some real legitimate concerns that people do have. A lot of people have concerns about they're not going to get their vitamin. They're not going to get vitamin D. They're not going to get vitamins, B12. They're not going to get calcium. There's other things, omega-3. They're afraid of, because they don't have those things, that they're going to get bone loss, that they're going to get anemia, that they're going to get immune dysfunction. So for myself speaking, I can't say that that is actually true. I guess they do have research on that, explaining that, and I guess that can be the case. But for me, with my diet, the way that I eat, 80% fruit, 20% of it, I eat vegetables. I think I fill those gaps in by doing that. Again, um, if I had to have that, if I had to do that, it would be, um, I just couldn't not eat any leafy greens. I couldn't not eat nuts and things like that. That's what I have to do. That's what I have to eat. So that's why I don't believe I have those deficiencies when I take tests. I don't have those deficiencies because I do eat nuts. I don't eat a lot of seeds at all, because it's not because I just don't want seeds. It's because I don't, there's seeds I don't really, there's not enough out there for me to really like. Okay, so I don't do seeds pretty much, but nuts, I do nuts. Sometimes I do mono eat as well. Okay, sometimes you may want to mono eat. There are a lot of people who only mono eat. There may be a day, 2 days that I go by, I only eat oranges. There may be 3, 4 days will go by, I only eat watermelon. It just really depends on what I'm hankering, what I'm wanting. But for the most part, on the weekends, like I'm doing salads and stuff like that. I'm eating with my family and just enjoying the time, enjoying the moment. And I eat majority of it raw. Now, there are some times in which I will bend the rule. And if I go out on a date with my wife, and then, like, for example, if they've got iceberg lettuce, they don't really have anything with it, but yet they do have some sauteed vegetables, and I can control the amount of oil and the salt that they saute with, then I will do something like that. But that's not a big part of my life. I think sometimes we have to make some allowances in order for you to stick with it and stay with it. If you don't make those allowances, sometimes people will have a habit of falling off. And what do I mean by falling off? They'll just give up because they feel like they really can't make it. And I think that's really what hurts a lot of people. So just design it for yourself. Again, me, 80%, I do raw. 80% of what I eat is fruit. 20% of what I do is leafy greens, and I do nuts and stuff like that. And that's how I survive. I love it. I'm not hurting in any way. All my ailments still gone. So blood pressure, all that stuff still down. But I do know if I have something that I'm not supposed to have, I can feel the effect on it. So when you eat good like this, when you eat majority raw food, you eat nuts and things like that, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel because your body is causing you to feel good. The food that you are eating has nutrients in it. That's what's causing you to feel good. For many of you all who are feeling bad, it's because you're eating processed food-like substances. Okay? That's what you're feeling, but your body's really rejecting it, and we keep throwing it back in. And so you're going to have an ache, and your body's saying, hey, I'm giving you a warning, and we'll take a medication to make the ache go away, and we're still shoving in that processed food, and that's really what is hurting us. Okay, so anyway, is being a fruitarian healthy and sustainable? I would venture to say yes. Why? Because this has been probably the best year of my life, definitely health-wise, in years. So I really believe that if it's something that you feel like that you are being led to do, I think you should do it. What I do think that you should do and what I don't think that you should do is put yourself in a box to where you can't complete your goal. Okay? So watch it when you compare yourself to other people, and these other people over here are doing this, and that may not work for you, and then you feel defeated and want to quit. Okay? So develop your own way, listen to your body, tell you what it needs from you. It will communicate to you. And the last thing I'm going to leave you is with this. When you eat real food, when you eat fruit, and when you eat vegetables, when you eat real live food, It will tell you when you are satisfied. Your body's going to tell you when you're hungry, and the food will communicate with your body and let you know when you're satisfied. So your cases of wanting to overeat things like the processed mess causes you to do, you won't have those issues. And if you do overeat vegetables and overeat fruit, so what? It's fruit and vegetables. It's not going to hurt you. And I promise you, your body will burn it off. All right. Hey, I hope this was beneficial, and I hope you like this. Again, if you enjoy this kind of content, I do have another channel, From Processed to Pure Food Movement. Over there, we talk about biblical food, how people of the Bible, how we biblically are supposed to eat. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please go to that channel, and we'll be talking about the Bible and food over there, all right? Hey, you all take care, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye-bye.